Hello. Hey. Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here. Welcome back to another Thursday live stream where, yes, as always, covering the most up-to-date hot topics on Transformers Earth Wars. Apologies for the late start, guys. I've been doing a bit of messing with my setup, trying to do things, and I'd literally just not plugged the mic back in. Apologies, guys. But yeah, I just saw I've been having a few issues at the beginning of the stream where it's been kicking people out. So I'll try scheduling a new stream rather than copying the old settings, start a whole new setting. But that doesn't seem to work. So I think it's something within OBS at least. So I'm going to start messing with the OBS settings and then we'll try again next week and try and sort it. So apologies, guys, if you were there when it sort of kicked everyone out. The link still works. You still come back in again. So apologies. But we are here. So today's stream, I've actually been really looking forward to today's stream all week. We've got literally loads of information, loads to go through today, to the point where I was going to do, obviously, my bot setups I've been doing, but I was like, I've got so much to go through today that I thought I'm not going to do that for this week, so we are skipping that this week. I've got loads of bot setups set for my members, so if you're a member, go and check that out. If you're not a member, like I said, a current member, I'm going checking them out. I'm going seeing them, guys. But yeah, listen, I always say this: if you're not a member, don't worry. That content will always come out eventually, so don't worry. I have some people going, "Oh, it's not fair that you have to make people pay to go and watch it." I'm like, it will always come out for free, guys. So don't worry. But if you are a member, a big shout out and a big thank you for being a member. But today, going through, so we're going to talk a bit about balancing. I noticed something in playtest, and I was a bit like, sort of scratching my head about it, and I thought, do people really understand how it works? I was in playtest for a long time, and so I just want to talk a bit about balancing, and hopefully not just the playtest, but it's more aimed at players and let them understand why things are the way they are, and hopefully sort of talk a bit about that. We've got an update for Volcanicus. Volcanicus has some changes again. We're talking about him. A bit of the conversation, again, it was in playtest between Dale and the playtesters, and you can sort of have your say on what you think of it. I've got my opinion, but obviously I'm always interested in your opinion as well, so let me know about that. We're going to take a look at the new combat as well. We've just had it into testing. That's coming out in another week or so, so interesting. The new 5-star batch is coming soon. I know people have been saying, when is it coming? When is it coming? It is coming soon. So we are literally going to announce the new 5-star batch today, and you will know who is in that. So we're going to talk a bit about the changes that are going to happen, changes that have happened already, and changes I think either will or should happen to that batch, and where I will sort of rank it in the scheme of things. And we'll talk a bit about behind the scenes as well. We can announce a couple of people that are staying with the company and are going with the game. We're talking a bit about that move over and where we sort of see it going. And we're going to talk a bit about something which I can't even right now tell you because I'll just give it away. But something really exciting which I have found out this week, and it got me super pumped for this following year. And I think all this says a lot for the game direction. I mean, a lot of people have been going, oh, maybe the game's closing because they're moving away from Supercell and Space Ape. But I think that what we're sort of going through today sort of speaks volumes. And I think that it's because we're starting to get things in motion now. But anyway, we'll talk about that shortly anyway. But for now, let's see who we've got in the chat. So we've got Grind Time in the chat. So thank you, obviously, for being a member. Thanks for being a moderator. I did make someone else a moderator, and it didn't work. So I need to sort that as well. Soul, thanks for joining. Soul, obviously one of my content creators as well. So go and check out Soul's content. Very polished, and congratulations to Soul as well. Just had a baby. and a mini soul. I can't remember what the actual phrase that he used. But yeah, listen, birth of a child is an amazing time. I know that he said he's been off it a bit because he's been traveling. I love how he put in a comment as well. He said, "Sorry guys, I've been traveling. Oh, and I've had a kid." All right, do you know what I mean? Like maybe should have led with that, mate. But yeah, congratulations to Soul. Brilliant news, bud. But go and check out Soul's content, guys. We've got Jackson Bass as well. We've got Decimus and Tracks, our members. Thanks for being a member. Thank you. We've got Ricky Law, William Wilson, Blade 19, and other our members as well. Thank you. Joseph Prime, my good friend Brad Channing, I've known for years. Probably one of the longest serving people that I know, back from my TFL days. We've got Michael Cooper as well. We've got Leo Prime's Matrix. We've got Shani523. Good to see you, buddy. We've got Trash Panda OG. Andrew Stevenson. We've got my. Who else have we got there? Did I say Michael Cooper? I'll say it again. I think I said Michael Cooper, but I'll say it again. Don't want to miss someone. Who else have we got? We've got Autobot Phil as well. We've got. Who else have we got? We've got Deshaun, we've got Apollo H, and thank you Ultimate Phil for the translation. Thank you, much appreciated. And everyone going, there's no sound, Wozza. I know. I still, if you've noticed, when I start my stream, I always start my stream looking that way because that's where my screen is with all my settings, and it tells me if my mic is on. Because how many times have I started a stream and I've gone, and I've got like 10 minutes in, and I look and I go, no mic. So yeah, I always double check that. So as soon as I started, I knew. What? Who else? Ghost wasn't. What? My camera went as well. I hope not. Sun Dawn as well, asking about campaigns. So I've had a few questions about this. These keep cropping up, sadly. And personally, I can't see many more campaigns happening in Earth Wars. Because the reason for that is that it takes so much effort, from what I've been told, to make that. And you get, once they do it, they do 5 battles and you're like, it's done. It's very burnable content. For the amount of work you put in, you don't really get much out of it. In terms of players and in terms of, as in like revenue or engagement or anything like that. So I can't see there being many more, if I'm honest with you. Simon Hayes as well, thanks you for joining. Like I said, I will make you a mod soon. Apologies. Berserk as well. We've got High Corners. We've got London's Calling. Volcanicus 69. Joseph Trillo. Steve Pierce as well. Who else have we got? And I think we've got Hamburger as well. And if I've missed anyone, let me know. Apologies. But thank you everyone for joining. And Hamburger's put any news on Predator King new batch. Yes, we're going to talk all about it today. Action-packed stream as always, guys. So let's crack on. Let's go for the newsletter and let's get into some of the important info. So, Bar Week, Grind Our Week, Ninny Bong. This weekend's event is back to basics. I'm not gonna lie, when I read that name of the event, I was like, back to basics. Interesting. Is that a bit of a dig? I don't know. I liked it. I liked it though. I don't think for 1 minute that was planned in advance. I think that they've gone, let's go back to basics. And I'm hoping that's what the Ape's going to do. I really do. This weekend's event is an individual totalizer 10k, nice and easy, nice and chill, before next week's big event. But we've got 40 warrior class crystals, so we're going back to that again. I don't mind, it's something a bit different. We've obviously had healer ones, we've had air class ones, gunner ones, so it's about time we had warrior ones. You know, I like this sort of cycle every now and again. Just one's the saga, doing something a bit different. You know, I'm a big fan of difference. You know, something a bit different, something a bit fresh, something a bit new. Even just a change of crystals. Keep it fresh. Keep it changing. One War for Cybertron skin, some 4-star and 3-star shards, some Troop XP, and a shed load of spark, and then some alloy and energon as well. So nice, easy 10k event. Some alright rewards that will help you sort of get through the game. Usual battle zones apply. No mayhem mode. It's only 10k, but there will be mayhem mode, no doubt, next week. Triple rewards has finished now. That was really good. I got shed load of spark. I actually upgraded my Vector Prime from 8 to 10, I think it was, because I was about to max out. So yeah, it was a decent amount of sparks, people. I do like these triple reward things. I should do it more often, just to encourage people to war. Really, really cool. And they've put Volcanicus and Predaking, but I think the news here is that they're not rushing it. It's going to come out next saga, I believe. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it soon. But yeah, looking all right at the minute. Yeah. Some bundles coming out this year. Best of 2024. So we've got Leo Prime, Beachcomber, Orion Pax, Vector Prime, and obviously their counterparts as well. So pretty decent bundle. I would say there's some good bots in there that are worth getting. So extra character crystals, extra character shards, and extra G1 power core chips. When it says extra, it depends how many. If it's like extra 2 crystals, it's like... So it all depends on how many's in there, but looking forward to that. Who's next on the side? Passed me my news already, but we're obviously getting Impactor for both sides, because Autobot and Decepticon. So both sides are getting an Impactor skin. Saga schedule, you can see it's not quite finished off yet, but we've got an MK4 event. Is it an MK4 event? Was there MK4s in it? I didn't see it. But anyway, and then we've got the 5-star and BBE next week. I was sort of looking at it thinking, should I, shouldn't I, should I compete? So, probably not, if I'm honest with you. We'll talk about the reasons later. But then we've got 3 weeks of just mediocre events. And then obviously the new bot. So the new bot is not in test yet. But the key that I keep saying is, it's my birthday that weekend. So if I'm going for a bot, then I'm off that weekend already. So I can go for that bot. There's nothing stopping me from going for that bot. The big question is, do I want to go for that bot? Which obviously we'll cover in the next few weeks as well. And then go check out your content creators as always. Myself, Freesia, Soldier. Sadly, at the minute, me and Freesia overlap. I didn't mean to hit Freesia up and let him know, but I don't even notice. But yeah, we'll sort of overlap a bit at the minute. So hopefully, hopefully Freesia can push his back a bit. And I can literally direct him from my stream to say, go and watch Freezia's, and will help his views, because at the minute it doesn't help with both of us overlapping. So yeah, Freesia, if you're actually watching, then just keep in mind that I normally do about 2 hours on my stream. So yeah, maybe I even sometimes overlap that by 2.5 hours max. So hopefully people can watch my stream and then go into Freezia's. The way I set my streams up is that my most looked forward content, my most anticipated content, comes at the back end of my stream. So it's kind of missing the most important part of my stream, but then also missing most of Freezia's, because he only does about an hour, so it doesn't work really. So something needs to change, but so that I just can't change. I'm literally stuck. This is because remember I pushed my stream back half an hour, so I don't know. Hopefully we can sort something out. There's some cool drawings, cool pictures. It was quite Bayfarmersy. It was very good. Don't get me wrong, very good art, very cool, but very Bayfarmersy, I thought. And then check out the team stream on the 30th of January, which is next week, where I'm sure they'll go through some things, answer questions. I think it's an important stream, I think, and hopefully they can address some questions that we all have. And I do sort of say to people that, you know, me and Dale do have conversations in the background, and he does tell me some things, and some things I can say to you guys, some things I can't say. But there was a big announcement the other day by Dale in play test. I don't think he's announced it globally yet, but Dale is staying with the game. And I was sort of talking a bit, you know, a bit hidden, but we've announced that Fabian is staying or coming back to the game. So for those that have been with the game quite a while, Fabian was in playtest when I was in playtest. He was there for a good at least 2 or 3 years, Fabian. And so he's coming back to the game. He knows the game really well. He knows the engine really well. He's already put some plans in place. So glad to have Fabian back on board again. So I think that the team of Sam, who's new to the team, has been in the last 6 months or so. We've got Fabian back in the team. We've obviously got Yannick, and we've also got Dale as well. So we're kind of sticking to the same team, and things are starting to come together now as well. So the next big question after that is who they sort of bring in as well. So those things, a few bits up in the air, or that Dale couldn't say. But yeah, I had someone sort of hit me up in private message saying like, I was thinking about what you said last week, and it kind of makes sense now. I was like, yeah, well, I couldn't say anything back then. I knew Fabian was coming back to the game, and I did say some old faces, but sadly, yeah, well, not sadly, gladly, it's now been announced and it's actually out there now. So yeah, Fabian, Dale, Yanis, and Sam are going with the game, which is cool. So that's the main design team basically. We've actually got an extra person in. So yeah, glad to have some experience in there as well. So looking forward to what Fabian can do with the game, and push it forward and get some new content out. So yeah, so I'll some comments, see what we've got. So Brad Channon's put bring back TFL. I miss not having a life. I know, honestly, people say this game is grindy. I'm like, it's not. Honestly. What else? Volcanicus is waiting for Volcanicus to be a 5-star. No doubt. Decimus, I'm here. G1 Asylum, shout out. G1 Asylum. What else? Hamburger. Any news? Yeah, I'm pretty king. Yeah, we spoke about that. High corners. We're going to see the ability in action of what? Most things, but not the 5-star batch. But I will talk about some of the changes that are happening. Will it cost 5-star shards to rank up Volcanicus? I expect so. I expect it to be the same as Ruination and God Neptune. I imagine it'll be the same. It's really weird, you know, that you're on stream and you know these things, but when you're trying to think of other things and you're trying to think of bot names, your mind goes to pot it. It's really weird, honestly. It's weird. I can't explain it, honestly, because we all know it's Ruination God Neptune. I mean, that's one of the easier ones in the game. But honestly, it's weird. I have people going like, why don't you do the con side? And I'm like, it's because it's not that I just can't bother learning it. It's like, you probably even learned them all, and I knew every single bot off by heart. I'd still forget them. It's really bizarre, honestly, how your mind does different when you start streaming and you can't concentrate on things. Stuff that you know. It's bizarre. But anyway. Let's have a look. Does anyone else's sound keep dropping out? No? Oh, thanks. Yeah, Mark Cooper's put glad Dale is staying. Yeah, me too. I think that's a big one for me. Volcanicus, yay, we get Fabian back. Berserk, old staff, old ideas, holds a fresh look at the game. Yeah, that is a concern, definitely. But then there's obviously people that know the game as well, which could do things faster. So we've obviously been a bit critical of things not coming out fast enough. And if we want someone to get things out faster, then definitely Fabian is definitely the person to do that. From what I remember, Fabian used to create at one point a new bottom combat every month, and it was mad schedule, but it used to happen for a good while. So if you can do that, then surely you can do this. Mouth Cooper's put, hope they can get Callum back too. It's a possibility. That is one of the names on the list. I know that I think Marvel has stayed with Beatstar, so Beatstar has done the same as Earth was, I believe. Beatstar's gone out on its own, so that will be no longer with Space 8, I believe, as well. So I believe Marvel has gone with Beatstar. So yeah. Steve Pierce, what we're about to say is keeping the old staff. The best idea was hoping for fresh crew to breathe some life into the game. Yes and no. Like I said, yes and no. D-Deck, yeah, D-Deck 76, but we worried the game was dying, but it sounds like it's got a real chance. Well, yeah. Brad Chan just giving his count away, like you do. Stephen Gomez, do you know what next week's event details are? 5-star combat of your choice? No, it would be the combat that we show on stream today. It would be a an event for that specific combat. It always is in the 4th week of the saga. Berserk's changing the buying a cost and refund. I agree with changing the cost. I think it should be. I think if it's parts, they understand the cost being in there. But if it's bots, I think collecting the bots is enough. So, but refund not happening. Honestly, once it's been done now, I think that's going to be set in place. Spectral Hunters put, why the Z Energon is no currently in the Shanic shop or only spamming some accounts. If you talk about the shop, I think that's just a bug and that'll change, I think. But yeah, I'll pass it on though. Blag123, the Matrix should be a prime core. I mean, you've got a point. You're not wrong in a way, but it just suits Optimus Prime. But yeah, you're not wrong. Track support, he's going to announce on this stream. What are we talking about? Big Blade. Any hint of the five-star box classes? Yeah, we'll announce it shortly. Don't worry, don't worry. Manzambiano, yes, Dale is staying. Yes, he is. So yeah, a lot of questions about the batch. Track support questions how quick Fabian can catch up with the new UI and Unity system. Oh, in a heartbeat. Literally. In a heartbeat. And I think at the end of the stream you'll know that by what I'm going to tell you. Berserk, what they refunded before? I don't. What? They refunded for like bugs and things like that. But I don't know of anything where they've changed something and gone, actually, I'm going to change that. So yeah, they have changed things over time. Where, for example, what was it now? Blaster and Soundwave. If you pulled Blaster and Soundwave in the last couple of weeks because they're giving away free, they were going to refund the crystal or something, the shard. I don't know, something like that. But that's not because they've gone back on something, a decision in terms of economy. It's an economic choice. I can't think of an economic choice they've gone back on that's not been a bug. Obviously, you got the Dino Gate, things like that, but I can't think of it. Put it in the chat if you can remember something where they've done an economical decision and then gone back on it and refunded. I can't think of anything. Could be wrong, but I can't remember. Anyway. No, I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything. Okay, let's go into the game. Let's have a bit of a chat. So, this week in playtest, there was lots of things happening, but I think the first thing that we can sort of address maybe is the balancing of Volcanicus. So, there was a lot of talk. I mean, I'm going to talk about Volcanicus shortly. It's not going to get too much in depth with it. We'll go over it again. But there's a lot of talk about his survivability. And a couple of playtests saying, well, can't you give them more health? Can't you give them more damage? We need to match Ruination, basically, and things like that. So, Dale sort of came in the chat and said, well, if I give him more health, he's going to have more damage, less damage. And some of the players are sort of like, what do you mean? Why have you got to do that? And it's kind of like a sliding scale. It's always been this way since day one, but it's a sliding scale between HP and DPS. You'll notice in the game that a lot of the warriors are a high HP, low DPS, and a lot of the gunners, jets have high DPS, low HP. And that's kind of the sliding scale for everything in the game. And so the way I can best describe this is, let's just say there are 5 out of 10 for HP, 5 out of 10 for DPS, 5 out of 10 for how good the ability is, say. And let's just say that's for everything. If we want to make the ability 7, we've kind of got to drop the HP and DPS down to 4. Because we've only got 15 points to use. This is how I'm trying to explain it. So the question is, do you want to use 3 points on the ability and maybe lose some HP and DPS? Do you want to keep the ability at 4 or 3 and maybe gain some HP and gain some DPS? So it's all a balancing act between, but you can't just go, oh, we're going to make it 8 of everything. Because you're like, well, no, there's got to be something that it doesn't work towards. There's got to be something where it's a negative. And this is kind of the problem with Ruination. Because Ruination has great survivability. He has great damage. He has great range. And sadly, Ruination is so good now, and the bar is so high because he's good at everything. There's nothing that he's kind of bad at. And that's the biggest problem with Ruination, and why there's talk of, they should nerf him, oh, they shouldn't, it's not fair. But the problem we've got now is that every content we ever create has to be up to that bar. And there's nothing wrong with occasionally bringing content out like this, making it so people chase that content. But then you've kind of got to either create a counter for it, or you then got to upgrade defenses to counter it regardless anyway. So it's kind of a moot subject in a way that if you create something really good, that's really good on attack, defense is going to improve in some way, or there's going to be counters released. That's just a natural progression. And so ideally, in some respects, you don't want to create too much content like that. And so the kind of thing that I'm saying is that you can't have everything really in a combiner, or you can't have everything in a bot. And I've always said that everything in the game should have a niche, should have something it's really good at, just that one thing. It doesn't have to be good at everything, and it shouldn't be good at everything. And I think some good examples are Pipes, for example. Pipes is, he's got actually pretty decent DPS from a tank. He's got crazy health. He's got crazy good ability. He's got really good range. Not amazing, stupid range. But this is why we have FFDs. Because he was, FFDs come first, but this is why he had shields. Because he needs a counter in some way. Because he can't be all powerful. And this is why we had the anti-water cores come out for Ruination. That's why the anti-fire cores came out after we had Leo Prime. And so it's all well and good, we want this content to progress, and I understand people want good content and people want to chase it, but we also have to understand on the flip side of that, if we do choose to go down that route, then the next stage is a counter. The next stage is an increase in HP for the base, or a buff to defenses, or new cores, or something. There's going to be something to sort of balance that out, and we just need to understand that and accept that. That's the way it's going to be. So when the new content comes out, you can take advantage of it. It's not like I'm going to go do always a counter and a week later. You're going to take advantage of it, and hopefully the way I see it is that there's going to be a period where that content will be absolutely amazing and everyone should chase it, but it can't last forever. Because if not, let's just say that every other 5-star combiner we create is as good as Ruination, we kind of got that problem. Honestly, we have, guys. Honestly. But then every other combiner we create is not as good as Ruination, then we've kind of got a problem. Because we only need Ruination. So we're kind of between rock and a hard place with this these combiners now. But again, we'll talk about that when we talk about Volcanicus. But I just wanted people to sort of understand that with every single bot, there's a balancing scale. You're never going to have a bot that does everything. It's going to have some kind of shortfall. The big question is, what is that? And does it suit your playstyle, or does it suit what you want from a bot? And that's when you decide to go for the bot or not. The problem lies is when you've got those five points, and it's kind of like threes, where you've got 3 on HP, 3 on DPS, 3 ability, and like this needs pushing up, and that's rightly so. It should be. It should be the same level, but that's where balancing comes in. That's where playtest comes in as well. So a lot of content coming out, being released. I'm hoping it's good content. I'm hoping it is balanced in that way. Lots to announce, lots to talk about, but just wanted to put it out there that we do have to accept some limitations in content sometimes. What else? Jason Rowlett, the Inferno fix. Yeah, but that's down to a bug. That wasn't down to an economical change. That's the point I'm making. If it's down to a bug, yeah, they have refunded, but not because of economical changes, I don't think. Top Shot refunded. Yeah, that was down to a glitch as well. That was not an economical change. Another one. The best bug was when they put a bot at £0 to buy, and I managed to buy 350 of them. Jesus, I don't remember that vaguely, but I don't remember that. The best bug for me was the Sharkticon bug. Well, I mean, obviously you got I loved Combiner Gate. That was amazing. That was funny. But the Sharkticon bug, where they buffed Gnaw and the Sharkticon went like through the roof. It was basically like having 4 or 5 Gnaws on the field, not actual the sharks, actually having like 4 or 5 Gnaws. So basically, you put it on the HQ, and within 2 seconds, the HQ was down. So yeah, you just dropped a bot, drop the Sharkticon boost on the HQ, boom, next base. It was immense. You're just going through battles like that so quick, and this was before leveling with combiners. You know, before they could even do that. It was around the Golden Lagoon time. You had to use the Golden Lagoon to even, go for events. It was immense. Honestly, everyone was like, I need Sharkticon boost. I need Sharkticon boost. I had about 70 or 80 in my reserve. I used every single one. Every one. It was fun. Escalor Jose, good to see you. His only issue was he has the same DPS as Ruination and Raiden, but lower health. So I just want to address this as well. Health on a combiner means nothing. Nada. Nothing at all. And I've seen some playtesters going like, it needs more health. It doesn't matter. They could literally give it half the health of Ruination. But if he has twice the damage reduction, then what's it matter? It's all about the abilities and survivability outside of that. I don't even look at the HP and DPS of combiners, because the only time that is irrelevant is if you're using no abilities and just hacking at a defense. And how often do you actually use that? How often do you think, oh, I'm going to use a combiner just to hack at a defense? Not very often. You're using the abilities and you're using them to get around the map and to have some sort of protection. And that's what's matter. I get a bit frustrated sometimes. I understand people are new to playtest sometimes, but a lot of playtests before that have learnt this because of similar questions that we've had in similar conversations. So there's a lot of newer playtesters in there. A lot of the old school playtesters are gone now. I think it's only really Sir Tan Lee that's been there for a long time. Yeah, I think so. And those sort of conversations we had back then were that, the HP doesn't matter. It really doesn't. The fact that Defensor has one of the most highest HP, I think, of all the combiners, doesn't make him the best. He dies quicker than Ruination. Go and try and use Defensor on the top map and see how fast he dies. But he's got the highest HP. It honestly doesn't mean anything at all. Andrew Stevens' book, can you show Slingshot being used to good effect with setup? Another week? Yes, not today. I've got loads to go through today, so probably not today. But yeah, I'll try and put it on my list when I'm doing it next week. Mario Zambiano, should we be concerned? We haven't heard anything about the move. It was quiet today in the letter. Wait to the end of the stream, and then I would make your own mind up. I think that when I heard everything that we're going to be talking about in the stream today, it kind of set my mind at rest. That's all I'll say. What else? Brad Channing, the whole point of this game is to be strategy and not just walk through every base. Yeah, 100% agree with that. 100% agree. And I had a big conversation with Dale about that, about Volcanicus in a way as well, which again we'll talk about in a minute. Blade 19, lower the counters for God Neptune is still a beast. Yeah, it's a valid point. We probably went a bit over the top on God Neptune and Ruination, and hence why the counters. But yeah. Volcanicus now getting too many Billbot cores. I agree with that as well. It's a point where you can't even use them. Volcanicus, I haven't used any of the new Billbot cores at all. They're absolutely essential at the higher level of the game. Essential. What's the endurance bot? It's coming soon. Don't worry. Oh, the endurance bot. No, the endurance bot. We haven't got in testing yet, but that'll be coming soon as well. I'm looking forward to it though. Can't wait. Monira Hussein, hope I've got that name right. Hey Wozza, what's your thoughts on the 5-star Volcanicus ability? I'll be covering it today. Get a lot of questions because also people haven't seen the start of the stream, went through it, and everyone's going like, what's happening with Volcanicus? I'm like, I'm talking about it, don't worry, stop stressing. Elf, I would love it if they would rework Zone 16. The gap with Zone 15 is too big. Yeah, can I just say this as well? So they are planning on bringing out a new zone eventually. It's down on the list, I think. But can I just say to everyone, can everyone just please remember that Zone 16 and 17 are the same? They're the same thing. I know some people will say you get easier ones in 17. That's debatable. I'm not going to argue the case. But the difference between 16 and 17 is 17 has prime effects. So people go, oh, I'm getting a maxed out base in 16 and it's not even the top zone. Yeah, but you're getting this. You could literally, it's unlikely, you could literally face my base in zone 16, fully maxed out completely, and then face it in your next battle in zone 17, exactly the same base, but with Prime League effects. So you've got an extra 15% HP and DPS on all the buildings, less electrical damage, I think it is, more fire damage to your bots. So it's exactly the same, but Prime League effects are in there. So you are going to get maxed out bases in zone 16, guys. But it is easier than facing that same base in zone 17. So keep that in mind. You're still going to find max bases in 16, guys. You are. Still see people going like, this base shouldn't be in zone 16. It literally should be max bases. It literally should be. That's the way it's designed. Tracks, the only limitation in this game is our wallets. Well, if you look at it that way, if you've got infinite money, then there's no limitations, maybe. Decimus has put wife is my limit. Last science port, isn't that what the anti-fire cores are for? I mean, Ruination gets ate up by MDS and prime cores. Volcanicus will melt before you can do anything. Well, yeah, anti-fire build bots will negate Volcanicus, and rightly so, and I'm fine with that as well. Because listen, we talk about abilities all the time. People go, oh, this ability is rubbish because we've got this build bot. I always say, well, then take the build bot out first. There's a reason that people are putting build bots right at the back of the map. Because they need to they're forcing you to use a certain bot to take that out in a certain direction. And they're hoping that by doing that, then it makes you sort of mess up on your war in some way. So, yeah, there should be counters for everything. I've always said that. There should be counters. But there should be counters that are applicable, that actually work. But the counters should be kind of level. Because right now there's a reason that everyone's using anti-acid. Because everyone is using arc. We talked about a rock, paper, scissors thing. That's not the case. Arc is the best, and so everyone is going for anti-acid. That's why. If they were all the same, then people would be using anti-electric as well. Fort Max, maybe. But no one is. There's a reason people are using FFD, because the likes of Pipes and Slug and Ironhide are absolutely immense, massively overpowered in terms of their shield, and so we have to have them FFDs. There's a reason we're using anti-fire, because Leo Prime is ridiculous, and so is Optimal Optimus, and so we need them as well. And so there's certain things, when, like I said earlier, when we have things that are overpowered in the game, we need to have counters for that, and because that is a meta attack strategy, we have to have meta defense strategies as well, and the two will always mount up. But the idea is that you will also have other options, and you spend money to get them options to go against those meta options, and then that's how the game makes money. Rinse and repeat. And that is literally how most games work. Little bit of cat and mouse. Ivan Garrido, that's correct, from Chile. I presume, but Chile. So thanks for joining the stream. Flag123, I know this is Earth Wars, but I want to go to the Junkion world and crazy water planet from the movie. Different skins, I think he's sort of insinuating. Yeah, it was a discussion. It probably could be done, but I think at the minute, I think they want to get the game cleaned up. I think they want to get some decent content out and just get this sort of, what's the opposite of a merger? Unmerge? Sorted, basically. Marazambiano, how's Dale been during the testing of Volk? Is he listening? Yes and no. But I think for good reason, which again I'll talk about when I talk about Volk. But I would rather have Dale work on bots than any other person, really. Honestly, I think he's really good. I think he's got a knack for it. Yeah. Last Science, but Dragon Ball Z just completely overhauled the entire game for the 10th anniversary. This tells me that it will be possible with this game too, with great improvements. Maybe. Supreme Rules has put good afternoon Wozza. The letter shows 3 weeks with no event. There will be an event. Don't worry. They're just sort of scheduling. I think that we've been critical of putting events in there and it changing and not knowing what's happening. I think one of those will be a Volcanicus event, but we don't know which week it'll be. So rather than change it, just left it open at the minute. And yeah, I think there'll be some small events around that. Blag's put a Macross skin for Jetfire. You never know. You never know. There's enough Jetfires in the game to do that sort of thing. Also, what Phil's put for me, the problem with Zone 16 and 17 is just that there is too wide a range of bases and difficulties. I agree with that. There is bases. So I generally battle in Zone 17 when I'm getting medals and stuff like that. And there are bases that I can solo with just Ruination. Send it to the HQ. It's HQ 17. I run to the HQ with Ruination. Smash it out. Dead. That's all I need to do. Then there are bases where I need Ruination and my Titan. So I clear an area out of Ruination. I use its hollows, and if they don't kill it, my Titan will finish it off. And then there are bases where I need Ruination, I need my Titan, I need a full team of bots, and I still struggle. So, you know, there is massively varying. I do agree with that. I do agree with the different zone. And we need to push all the maxed out bases into Zone 17. Have Prime League, Zone 18, and keep all the HQ 17s in Zone 16. So I do agree we need another zone. Definitely. Also, Phil's got a very good point there. And AML's put, yeah, Zone 15 becomes very boring because 1 out of 5 bases, Zone 16 costs too much. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Yeah, 100%. Blade 19's, but I literally do not go near Zone 16. It's not worth it for the sake of a few points extra. I mean, I like to do that in events, but it is a killer when you lose. And I've always said, like, I don't like the fact that you can lose in Mayhem mode, but I think, like you're saying there, the point is not that you're losing, the point is the variation on zones. So I will bring it up with Dale and just say, let's say this is quite an important factor. We need to sort of bring out a new zone as well, ASAP, really. But yeah, I think that's a very good point. Also, what Phil's put, the needed fix for Zone 16, 17 bases, more attack zones. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree that. I've always said that you should have a zone for each HQ level. And Yanis disagreed with that. And he said because you can have, for example, the way he sort of described it is, you can have a maxed out HQ 18 with level 17 defenses. So you can have an HQ 18 with level 17 defenses in zone, the top zone, and then the zone below you can have a completely maxed out 17 with prime cores. Will be more powerful than the HQ 18 that doesn't have prime cores. So the HQ does not depict everything. It's a sort of balancing act in terms of giving everything values in the game. But I've always said that, you know, the values aren't right. I don't think the values are correct. Because even when we do these zones, there'll always be like a HQ 18 in the top zone with like, even like HQ 16 defenses or something because someone's rushed the HQ. And then like, you're like, why is this even in here? But then again, when you come up against that, you're like, buzzing. Easy base. So yeah, I personally think each HQ level should be in each zone. And that just simplifies it, makes it easy. But then you've got to understand that you will have HQ 18s that are just HQ 18 with no HQ 17 defenses, no prime cores, and you will have maxed out bases. Because if you wanted those in different zones, you would end up with about 20 odd zones. It just gets a bit silly. So we've got to understand there is going to be some variation. But for me, I just think, especially now, HQ 18 is so hard to kill, the actual HQ itself, that HQ 18 bases, just the HQ itself, should be in the top zone. And that's it. And then balance everything else below that. I don't really care. But those HQ 18s are so hard to take down. So hard. What if there was a second base inside the mountain? Combines and Titans can't fit through the door. I don't think the sort of can't fit through the door thing will work. But yeah, I know Clash of Clans has a second base, even a third base now. I think, doesn't it? I think. So yeah, I understand that there is a you can sort of do that sort of thing. Yeah, not what Phil's put. Yeah, attack zones based on HQ level. If you level your HQ for your defenses, getting whooped. Yeah, I agree with that. It stops people rushing the defenses, I think. Why can't I do it on the power level of the base instead of the HQ? For that reason, that different things have different weighting. So we call it weighting, as in like how heavy. Every defense has a weight to it. And I actually said that you were getting maxed out bases with low level walls, and I sort of said the weight of walls needed to improve at the time. This is go back a few years ago now. But everything has a weighting. But from what I understand, cores don't count in that weighting, and so a base with no prime cores will be judged as the same as a base with all the prime cores if all the defenses were the same level. And so that's just down to tech. I think that was the case years ago. Again, that was something we talked about in playtest. But yeah, it's very difficult because so we could go down this rabbit hole of giving everything away and giving everything as a value, but then in the meantime, we're not getting 5-star combiners. We're not getting any new content because we're focusing on that. So the question you got to ask is it really that important? As a quick fix, personally, I would rather create a new zone, put all the HQ18s into that zone, job done. And every time you bring out a new HQ, create a new zone and push them into that. That's the way I would do it personally. I mean, I'm not a developer. What do I know? But that's what I would do. The Primes K got his first 300 in Cyber. Congratulations, you're on the road. You're on the road. Next up, try and get maybe some decent points in Prime. Try and get like a 200 in Prime or 180. Try to think of the next one below that. So 300, 200 base 4, 150 I think. 125 is it for base 3? Try and get to base 3 in Prime League and see how you go. And so yeah, just keep taking them steps. Well done. So what you should not come back up to a higher alliance like Silent HQ18 is hard now. It's not that hard, but I'm just like, I don't know. The only thing frustrating for me is there's been many a time where I've started a battle in a war, and literally all my team's been wiped out, and I've sat there and gone, why did that happen? And I'm sat there baffled because I think once I hardly had any defenses around me. I don't think I deployed that bad, but like I lost about 3 bots in like 3 seconds, and I'm like, how was that even happened? I was like, I can't even bother working it out, and that's when I was like, I can't bother. And I've had times where there's been glitches, and it's in a lower level war, you get a glitch, and you go, oh well, I'll just battle again because there's nothing really at stake. But in higher level wars, I do take them really seriously and almost personal when I lose, and it really eats me up. And so I don't miss that stress. I've got enough stress in real life in terms of my job and things like that that I just don't need that stress. And I've kind of come accustomed to it now. That all that stress I used to have about wars and fitting it in and following protocol and the discussions around it, I'm just past it. It's nothing to do with like difficulty. I probably could go up there tomorrow and do all right. I don't know what the averages are. I don't know, but yeah. Thomas Fullard, thanks for being a member. Welcome to the stream. Got kicked out to an 8 out of 10 just countdown video. I mean, if you're gonna get kicked out, that's a good thing to get kicked out too. So apologies, keeps doing that to people. But yeah. Prime's K's beating the first base. Well done. Keep going. Yeah, Steve Pierce, but logic would dictate you have a zone per HQ level. Yeah, but I think the big question is, do you have a new HQ18 in the same zone as maxed out HQ18s? I mean, yeah, for me personally, but that was the big question. What is more difficult to beat? A maxed out HQ17 with all prime cores, or HQ18 with zone of HQ17 defenses and no prime cores. I would maybe go with the HQ17 with prime cores than the new HQ18 with no prime cores. But because the HQ18 would push it up. I mean, I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate. I'm all for putting HQ18 in its own bracket, but you know, I'm just being devil's advocate. Simon Hayes, has the Roadbuster dropped out the meta a bit? Seen lots of teams in Prime that aren't using him. Yeah, I would say so. Because of his cost, there's just cheaper options now to get rid of the shield gen, and basically in between Leo Prime, Optimal Optimus, Blue Streak, you can literally take out the shield gen with bots that have a different use. So you can use Blue Streak on 2 or 3 different situations. You can use Leo Prime to clear an area and hit the shield gen. Same with Optimal Optimus. Whereas Roadbuster was specifically to take out the shield gen and defense around it for a higher cost or a similar cost. So it's kind of like having bots that have multiple uses rather than having a bot that just has the one. So yeah, I think a lot of people are subbing out Roadbuster and putting Blue Streak in for that reason, to reduce the HP of all the buildings per his ability. So just to show you that quick, and that's exactly what I've done. If I'm honest with you, I'm not, you know. So yeah, so you can see there it reduced the max health by 30%, which makes it easier to take out by reducing the max health. So yeah, I think that's what people are doing. Autobot Phil, because of the Roadbuster nerf. No, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. Prime's case, but HQ with Prime cores could be its own zone. I know, but then you have do you have a 17, then a 17 with prime cores, then you have an 18 and an 18 with prime cores, and all of a sudden you need 20 zones. And again, it gets a bit silly if you start segregating with everything. You can't do that, so you've got to say which one do you want, guys. You can't choose. Play 19. What day should I have done in the first place? You cannot update the HQ until all defenses are maxed. Or what they should have done in the first place. Yeah, that's a good point. But we could all sit here and go, we should have done this, should have done that. But sadly, we're sort of stuck with it out. Cool. Okay. Volcanicus update. And I'm not even on the test server. I'm on my account. So let's get the test server up. The Prime's got Striker, he says, so Prime's slightly easier. Yeah, but listen, use it. Use the Striker. Go at it. You know what I would advise? Use Striker. And when you start getting some good scores, pass that Striker on to someone else and go, you know what, I want to try without it. You know, someone asked me once, and I wasn't even struggling or anything like that. People just said, like, you know, do you want the Striker role? I was like, no. And I'm not criticizing anyone does, but I was like, no, I want to be challenged. I know I can do this. I know I can compete. So I don't want that. I was like, I want to achieve it without that. And I'm not saying that everyone should do that, but I think you should aspire to do that. So use the Striker role right now, but aspire to go to a point where you don't use it. That's what I would advise you to do. Okay, Volcanicus update. Let's have a look. So, still balancing Volcanicus. There's still some weeks to go. I had a big conversation with Dale. Why does he get 4-star? That's weird. Really weird. I'm trying to work out now. Why has this happened? Interesting. Sorry, guys. I'm just thinking why that's happened, because I literally had the 5-star in there yesterday. So baffled why it's 4-star today. Strange. Okay. So, been having lots of conversation with Dale behind the scenes, talking about playtests, the direction they see Volcanicus in, reasons being. But I think a lot of the comments in playtests around his survivability, I kind of agree with that in a way. but there's a specific way to use his ability to keep him alive, which works, which we'll talk about today. And I think if you use those abilities in that order, it keeps him alive a lot better. But for me, I think a lot of the questions about him were around leveling. He struggles to get around, his damage reduction. So at the minute you put his extinction down, it lands in an area, you jump Volcanicus in, and while he's in there, he's protected. But once he walks out of that, he's not protected anymore. And I think that was a lot of the conversation. So I think the idea is to maybe increase the range of the meteor, so that when he does walk around, he's still inside it. I think that's the idea. But to be honest with you, not too much has changed, because we're kind of at a point where he's almost finished. He's pretty much almost there. I think he's like 95% there. I think if we could just solve that, he's been designed for one thing specifically, and we're going to talk a bit about that as well. It's been designed for one thing specifically, and I said to Dale, when you do this, he needs to do that very well. And as long as he does that very well, you should be okay. But a lot of the playtesters were sort of saying, well, we don't want him to do that all the time. We might want him to do something else. But then Dale's sort of thing was, listen, we can create a combiner like Ruination every time that's really good in terms of power leveling, really good in wars, good at everything. But it's kind of boring, because then what to do for the next combiner? What to do when Defentor becomes a 5-star? Just make him do the same. Make him so he clears the base. Make him massive range. Make him so he's good at leveling, good in wars. And then when we get 5-star Magna Boss, we do the same again and make him good at leveling. And what attracts you to get 5-star Magna Boss? If you have 5-star Volcanicus and you have 5-star Ruination that can already do everything in the game. So what I sort of spoke about earlier, we kind of ruined with Ruination, excuse the pun, that it does everything well. But we can have a combiner that every now and again, but we're not going to have every combiner as good at everything. And so I'd say one of the main downfalls of Ruination, maybe on defense, is not as good, or that is more good on attack. And so we will have defensive combiners like we saw with Raiden. Whether he fits that bill or not, that's another question. But we will have defensive combiners. We will have combiners that are good in wars. We will have combiners that are good in leveling. We'll probably have combiners that are good in raids even. And so that's the sort of direction you can sort of look at a combiner and go, let's just say we're starting afresh. And we've got all 4-star combiners and no 5-stars as a newer player. And you can look and go, right, Wozza, which 5-star combiner should I go for? You could go, yeah, go for Ruination, is brilliant. But you can also say, ideally, well, what do you enjoy playing? What mode is your favourite mode? Oh, listen, I love leveling up bots. Right, well, this one's for you. This combiner is for you. Whereas you turn to another person and go, what's your favourite game mode? Oh, I love raids. Then this combiner is for you. And that's the way that I think Dale sort of sees it, the way I sort of see it, and it's healthy, because you don't want a situation where people have one combiner and they go, I don't want the rest. I want that. And then the people that have the rest, they're like, I'm not happy with it. And that's what we're sort of seeing with Omega Supreme now. That people have Omega Supreme, but because Ruination is the best combiner with pretty much everything in the game, people are saying, I don't want Omega Supreme. That's a waste. Those shards are spent is a waste. So we want to have different combiners that are good at different things. And so Volcanicus was always designed to be a counter for the cluster. Now, when we say the cluster, it's in terms of HQ18, Shield Gen, MDS, Shock Towers with Liege in there, Micronus. And the idea is that there's so much protection in that cluster that it's very hard to take out for different reasons, whether it's being healed, whether it has protection or a shield or something. There's something in there that makes it very difficult to kill. And if you don't kill it, it re-heals again and you've wasted your ability points. And then eventually you run out of points because you spent so much trying to take out that shield gen cluster. Now, when this was first sort of discussed, I said to Dale, I'm a bit worried that we've created a combiner now that takes out that shield gen and it kind of makes everything else a bit easier. But then I started to think about that, and I always say that, the good thing is when you make the game easy on attack and bases become a bit of a steamroll, that leads to an increase in defense. And when defenses are a bit too hard and we're struggling a bit, it's a good thing in a way because it leaves it open to have better bots. And Yanis said this in the stream, it's like a pendulum going back and forwards. So the game will swing towards higher difficulty in wars and higher defenses and be really hard. And they start to bring out good content, really good combiners, really good bots, really good combats. And all of a sudden the game becomes easy again and swings over here. And then you go, right, okay, the game's a bit too easy now. We need to swing back. And all of a sudden then they bring out different cores and stuff. And all of a sudden the pendulum starts to swing the other way. You're never going to have it exactly in the middle. It's going to swing either way. And I think we're at a point now where we're starting to swing towards making the game a bit easier, and it frees it open for new content, for new cores, for new buildbot cores maybe. Who knows? There's plenty of things that we can sort of do to make the game more difficult. We'll talk about another MDS attachment that's on there that we hope is coming. So there's loads of things they can actually do then in terms of defense, and there's something else to change, and it just means there's more and more content. We don't want it to get stale where we've got one combiner that wins you the game, makes it easier, and that's the case forever because it just gets stale. And people say, oh, it's almost too easy now. Just drop Ruination, take out half the base, use your Titan, drop a few bots, and you're done. That is kind of where it's going towards. So, although Volcanicus will make the game easier, you've got to think about newer players as well. So those players that don't have maybe Roadbuster or don't have Blue Streak, how are they going to get, decent scores in wars? We talked about a player earlier who's coming up from Cybertron. Well, I would advise him, go and get this combiner. This is a good combiner for you to go and chase. Yes, for newer players, we do need to make these bots more accessible. So difficult to get all these 5 stars, but that's where we can make them a bit easier in some way. We can have different options. Do we bring it out where you could buy Sludge for $100 and Swoop and Snarling, Grimlock and Slug? $500, 5-star combiner. That's just my idea. That's being discussed with Dale. But do we do that? But it makes the game money. If you don't want to spend that, don't spend it. Don't go for Volcanicus. Stick with Ruination. If you haven't got Ruination, go and chase the box. It'll take you longer. Money will always be a shortcut in this game. It always will be. It always has been, because that's the way the game's designed. It's designed to work on your patience, and that you're a bit that you don't want to wait any longer, that you want content now, a bit of impatience in that sense. It preys on that. It preys on that you want it now and aren't willing to wait, and that's what you will spend to get that content. And that's where I kind of see it going long term, rather than you pulling 5 bots out of every batch and chasing 5-star shards. Maybe, who knows? But let's take a look at Volcanicus in action. We'll talk about his abilities, his use, and the way I sort of see it going forwards. Okay, so you can see here that we've got the shield gen. We've put a shock tower in there with Liege because that's the highest HP building in the game, so people struggle to take that out. We've got my Cronus. I did have it in the cluster, but I wanted to test it with it outside the cluster. I thought, will that make a difference? I always start to think that if we're going to use Volcanicus to take out that cluster, what are people going to do to counter that? What ideas are people going to have? What's going to make it more difficult? So I was testing it with my Cronus in the cluster. He seemed to still take that out. Again, we can show that. But then I thought, I'm going to move my Cronus out of the cluster and see what happens there. If that makes a difference or not. So in terms of Volcanicus abilities, I'm going to drop him here in a minute. Just call a quick run through. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, there's a bug at the minute. Sorry, guys. There's a bug a minute on the test server that if you don't drop a bot first, then it ends the battle. Don't ask. Only on base test for some reason, but hey. So let's drop pipes over here. So drop Volcanicus here. So let's run through the abilities. So while he's sort of transforming, So the first ability that I tend to try and get off is Empowered Megatronus. And the reason for that is that it gives you increased attack speed and damage reduction. And so I start to use this when he starts to take damage. I was activating it a bit early, but by the time he walks to the defenses, then in this situation anyway, then it's kind of half used up. So I always use that when he gets to the defenses. Then I'm going to use his meteor, his extinction, sorry, and I'm going to jump into that again to give that damage reduction and do damage in area. Then I'm going to use his fire and brimstone because we want that enemies on fire combo, along with obviously the energy sword that does extra damage extra damage to defenses on fire, and everything sort of combos together. So you see here, I'm just waiting for this defense to target him. That's weird. I'm firing. But now I'm going to give him that damage reduction. Speed up. So it's going to take a few of them defenses out. Then we're going to stick the fireball on the defense. And then we're going to jump into that as soon as we can to give him that damage reduction. You can see it's still healing. But all that fire together is going to work up together to cause a load of damage. Take that out. You see there. And you see there, he's taken out that cluster, what it's designed to do. I should have hit the MBS effect, got a healing thing on it, but I just didn't think we can do it again to show you. But you gotta think, I've not used a Titan boost, I've not used any other abilities on it, anything like that. He is designed to take that cluster out and take it out well. Now, I did say to Dale, I said, it's very tight. You just take that cluster out, but sometimes it leaves a slither of health behind, like you saw the MDS again. And if you make the wrong choice, then you can sort of, struggle a bit. And Dale's sort of response was, well, maybe that's a skill of using him. That, if you don't use him the right way, then maybe you're going to struggle in some way. And I said, yeah, but it's a bit tight. All it needs is someone to have a clever idea. All it needs is something to come out that makes it a bit more difficult, that's a bit more DPS, and all of a sudden, if he can't do that, he's been designed to do that cluster very well. If he can't do that, then it's kind of a bit of a waste. And I can see him in the future being maybe less relevant. But Dale said, I wouldn't worry about that, because the plan is that we're going to buff all the combiners, but eventually it'll come back round again to Volcanicus probably. Or it will. And then we'll buff him as well. And then we sort of go round in that circle of, buffing combiners, making them do more damage to whatever stage we're at. It kind of makes sense. And still some health on that MDS you can sort of see there. But you get the idea. And that's where the conversation sort of came around giving him that bit extra. Because he needs to do that really, really well. And he does that really, really well. So if you're struggling for likes of Blue Streak and you're struggling to use Roadbuster and you want a different option, set a cluster out, this is what Volcanicus is designed for. Now, if you want him to do what Ruination does, and you want to sort of use him for leveling, well, this is not the combiner for you. This is not going to be good at everything. He's not going to be that good on defense. He's not going to be that good at Mayhem mode. And I'm sure the people sat there going, well, I don't play top wars. We don't even have the shield gen cluster at my level. What's the point of me going for Volcanicus then? And listen, you kind of got a valid point. But, I mean, I get it. I do. But you can't have a combiner that's good at everything. Sadly, you can't. So let's just say we're trying to take out some other defenses instead. So you can see that it can clear a bit of an area, but as soon as he jumps out of that extinction, it kind of dies. And that was the playtester sort of thing, that once he jumps into that extinction, it should sort of stay with him. And that's something that Dale's considering as well. So there's still a couple of changes that are going to happen maybe behind the scenes to make him a bit better. But he said that he's not going to have that protection at every jump like Ruination. We're not making Ruination 2.0. We can make some changes to make him better. He's not going to be Ruination. I just want to emphasize that, because I think that's people are expecting that Volcanicus is going to be as good as Ruination. He's going to be better Ruination at taking out a cluster, because Ruination really struggles sometimes. But he's not going to be as good as Ruination in terms of leveling and taking out the rest of the base. And so then you've got a choice in terms of a top player. Do you instead then take out the cluster and then chance with the rest of the base your bots? Or do you use Ruinations, take out most of the base, and then chance with the cluster? And again, it's kind of a choice. I've always said, you know, you should have a choice, and everyone shouldn't be misled into sort of the same choices all the time. You should have a decision, and everyone should be looking at going, I prefer this direction to attack this base. I prefer this direction to attack this base, and everyone has their own tactics. Yeah, there's going to be a few people that are roughly the same, but it just adds a bit of variation. There's too much of, you have to have Leo Prime, you have to have Optimal Optimus, you have to have Blue Streak, you have to have Minerva, you have to have Ruination. It kind of gets a bit boring. And so by having different bots, different combiners, different combats that have niches, that have certain specific things that they are very good at, it creates variation. So I know that some people are not going to be happy with that, but you've got to think that the next combiner that comes out, it's going to be good at something else. But you might not like that combiner either. You might look at them and go, I want the next one. I want Defensor. But that's fine. They go and chase Defensor. And it's kind of good in the way that you haven't got to chase every single combiner. And you kind of pick and choose which one you would rather have. So, Volcanicus, for me, I love him. I think he's really good. I've already got him, all the bots ready to go. I'm super happy with him. Am I going to stop using Ruination in events for Volcanicus? No, I'm still going to use Ruination, I think, in events. Am I going to use Volcanicus in wars? Definitely. Most definitely. For every base? Maybe not. And this is what I like, that I can pick and choose my combiner depending on the base and a bit of variation in the game. So tell me what you think. Are you happy with the changes? Are you not happy? Do you war at a high level or a lower level? Would you like another Ruination 2.0? Would you like every combiner to be good at everything? And then we have 10 combiners doing the same thing. And it's literally just reducing the cost over. Let me know in the comments and let me know what you guys think. So have a look. Carnage Macromites, but all 5-star combiners should be good at everything with that cost. Yeah, the cost is definitely an issue. I understand that. Blacks, but Mayhem, Defense, Raid, PvP, Event, Elimination Combiners. Well, Elimination Combiners, PvP, and Event are kind of the same thing. But yeah, Mayhem, ones that clear them out better. Defensive ones, definitely, and Raid ones, I definitely see that. I definitely see that the way it's going. Carnage Mac, alright. Specialized Binders is good and fun for endgame players, but you don't want low players to finally unlock and level a binder who melts instantly. It's a valid point. It is a fair point, but again, that's where you sort of should be looking into, you know, your content creators and things like that, and knowing what to go for and choosing, and not just blindly going for content. I mean, I do it on Marvel Strike Force when I play that. I look at what people are using for what events, and events that I don't really bother with, then I don't really need that content. Why level that? I'm going to level what I enjoy and just go and check out your content creators. Blade 19 Overlord was a waste long before God Neptune came out. But yeah, that eventually will come around to having a fix as well. I think that'll be lost because he was the first 5-star, but I imagine, yeah. Last Science, but I don't want to overpower new bots. I just want them to be relevant and have a use and be cool. It's very hard though to say everything should be level. It's almost an impossible task, you know. it is. It is an impossible task, if I'm honest. It's really impossible to make everything level in the game. It really is. The only way you're going to do that is with balance changes. And me and sort of Dale have discussed this endlessly over the years. Dale's been with the company over 5 years now, and literally it comes up every so often about balance changes. And other games do it, but I don't think people would appreciate that. Let's just say, for example, that next week we reduced Optimus's ability damage and Leo Prime's, but then increased the damage done by, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a bot top of my head that's pretty awful, that does really bad dust up, but we tripled dust up damage. I mean, it's a bad example because it's a 4-star, but you understand what I'm sort of saying. People are not going to be happy with that because they spent for that to be leveled, and the amount of time it takes and effort and money, because a lot more than other games. That's why it's more of an investment and why people get really frustrated. Now, if bots were easier to level and cost you less, we could probably do balance changes, but then would they make less money? It's a big risk and a big chance. So that's the reason we don't do balance changes and why they don't really like to nerf things after they come out, unless it is a fix to the tooltip. So I advise everyone, if you go for a bot, go and read the tooltip and go and have a look at what damage it's doing. If it's doing more than the tooltip, just think it's probably gonna get fixed one day. Just think that, and when it does, you can't complain, guys. You can't, honestly. You can complain that it's took them that long to fix it, but then again, if everyone's keeping quiet about it, you can't expect the apes to go back through every single bot and go and try every single bot and test them out. Should the apes have a top account in the game, playing at the top level to try every bot out and level them all to level 70? Is that fair? No. So you're saying they've got to do it themselves and level it themselves, but then they can't go and get every single bot. And if they go and do an endurance, say, and then get that bot, they're kind of taking the place of someone else. So they kind of can't win. And you could say, oh, we'll go and do it on a test account. Test account and live server are totally different. I've had bots that work one way in a test account, and as soon as they go on live server, they act a bit different. And we're like, well, that didn't happen on test. And that's a chance you take. So sadly, having an idea that everything is equal is impossible. Grind time spot that Vanessa says hi. Hi, Vanessa. I presume on the big TV. That bug is on a live server too. Oh, right, okay, great. They mean the bug where base test ends. How long is that combiner buff cycle? We've been waiting for the majority of combiners to be adequately buffed. More to come later. Is Volk as effective if a BB has the fire core in its area? No. So that is a valid point, that fire cores will negate Volcanicus like it should. Like water cores should negate Ruination. Question for everyone. Just have interest in the chat. And this has not been discussed. Again, I'm just spitballing. If they made all of Ruination's abilities water abilities, so it's kind of like it's a nerf if the water Buildbot core is still there, that would make him equal in a way to Volcanicus. Would you be happy with that? Because it kind of opens the door, meaning we can have better content. We talked about Ruination being the ceiling and not be able to match it. But I think if all his abilities are water and the water cores actually negated all his abilities, it wouldn't be as bad. Because like we're saying about Volcanicus, well, you've got to take out first. That's the tactic. The problem is with Volcanicus, the problem is with Ruination, is that you jump into an area and he has anti-water Buildbot, but you can take the water Buildbot out with his other abilities that aren't water. And so you jump in, you take out the water Buildbot with Ruination, and then you can use Ruination's water abilities anyway. So it kind of defeats the object. It makes no sense. Prize case, but Ruin would just do it better as you can just use Leo, Optima, and White Creme or Smoke in the shield's gun. Yeah. Fair point. Steve Pierce spot the variation in bounds would be sick, but they'd have to let you chop and change when activated in wars. Yeah, I think that's a problem as well. At the top level, you have to sort of like, yeah, that's a fair point. It is a fair point. but I suppose you'll have to wait 15 minutes for the cooldown, or 25 minutes for the cooldown. And just go again and then use your coins then, I suppose. Or not, if you're not going to coin, then it doesn't matter, does it? You're just going to use a different cabana then, I think. I kind of get your point, though. You kind of got a point. Let's have a look. Marians and Biana's put, if you are still going to use Ruination, use the Apes did a great... If you're still going to use Ruin and use Volk, the Apes did a great job. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Marians and Biana's put, I don't expect Volk to be better than Ruin. I don't expect him to be better than Ruin. I think he needs to be better at something than Ruin, which I think he is, which I like. London's calling, yes. The next 5-star batch will be revealed today, yes. Yeah, Marion Zambiana's put, but the fact we are discussing we can use both is a great hit. Yeah, I think done a good job. I do. Darklands, good to see you as well. Any changes? There might be some changes coming, not really, but more just an explanation, I think. Grant's put no, leave Ruination alone. Darklands Ruin only has 1 water damage ability. It'd be okay with all, but Hollows being water damage. Yeah. Simon Hayes, fine for me in wars. You just take them out first. Yeah, Blade Anti's put no. So you can see, you know, there's different sides of it. Trackspot, I didn't see the argument about the Fire Dome cores. Light Ruination, if you plan on using either, then you should plan on taking that specific build out beforehand. It's tactics and strategy. Yeah, I agree. Problem is, though, it's not that for Ruination, though, is there really? Steve Pierce has put, us Ruin users don't understand this word tactics. Just want to spam. Fair point. Okay, next up. So, the new combat came in test this week. So we're going to take a new peek at the new combat here and now. So let's go into the lab. So as always, we've got a sort of stand-in figure for the time being, but we have Stylar for the Autobots, and this shoots targets from long range and prioritizes defenses. Every 10 seconds, fire a shot that reduces attack range of enemies in a small area by 56% for 10 seconds. So to kind of sum this up, it's equipable on gunners. So show you again. So gunners and long range specials, so like Orion Pact and Skyburst as well. So it has similar range to Glitch. So it's like a sniper bullet, but it shoots a bullet that's a bit like Dazzle Strike. So imagine Dazzle Strike mixed with Glitch in a way that reduces the range of defenses. So I think the best thing to do is take it into battle, take a look at it, and we can go from there. So I actually went into a lower zone to try and test this out, but hey, we've still got a maxed out base, but hey, here we go. Okay, so Sea Spray. So we dropped Sea Spray right at the back here. So you see there, the initial bullet reduces the range. You can see there, it's got similar range to Glitch. So prioritize them defenses, and you can see that every so often it fires a bullet, and that reduces the range of that defense. So we'll just take out this side a minute, just to give him a bit of chance to survive. And try and show him on this... Okay. Take that one out as well. You see there, it's firing a bullet. So he's reduced the range of that mortar now. That's why the mortar's not hitting him. Because the range has been reduced greatly. See there, firing the bullets. Reducing the range. So let's go to a bit of a lower zone. I think we can see a bit better. He's going to die quite quickly, just a gun him on his own HU-18. Okay, and then we go HU-16. Great. Okay. So we drop sea spray just there. So you can see the bullets. So that's sort of like his normal DPS. And every so often he sort of throws a bullet like that, which reduces the range of that defense. There we go, and you can see because we reduced the range of it, the mortar isn't firing against him. You can see that it's prioritizing defenses as well. So, although I like the idea behind this combat, there's a couple of issues for me. So, there's a reason that people don't use tactician cores. And it's not just because there's better cores or anything like that. It's because a long time ago, there was discussion around tactician cores on bots. I'm talking maybe 7 years ago. And the discussion was that people didn't like them because all of a sudden bots would walk off in different directions because they're prioritizing defenses. They wouldn't walk in the same direction that all your other bots are walking in. And so we kind of put this in a combat. And I don't like the fact that it targets defenses. It makes it so that your gunners walk out of sync. Now, I can see some good use for this. So if you're running 3 gunners or 3 ranged bots with 5-star, 4-star and 3-star styler, and you're hitting defenses and the enemies in a range were reduced, if you can make it so that beam lasers, mortars and launchers, all their range is reduced, then these bots can kind of work without getting hit. You could easily take out a massive section of the base. But the problem is that the range in an area is too small. The defenses literally need to be right next to each other, which is a bit unrealistic. You don't put 8 defenses in a massive cluster. You sort of space them out a bit. So it's unrealistic. So you could say that, oh, the answer is that maybe you should increase that area. But then it kind of gets a bit silly and a bit overpowered. But then again, in terms of range, no one talks about Dazzle Strike and says how good it is. Because the problem you've got is that right there in the battle, it's very hard to see what range you're really reducing. Because there's like that little thing that goes around. But other than that, it's hard to see. We talk about slowdown and we talk about reducing range and it being really hard to see what's happening. And so they're not really desirable, slowdown and reducing range. Although I see value in it, it's not that desirable. I would rather them take that out. But the problem well with this is that, so let's just break this down 1 second. So shoots targets from long range, so it's got range. Every 10 seconds fires a shot that reduces range of enemies in an area. There's no DPS increase at the minute with this combat. When we look at other combats like Glitch, we see things like more chance of a critical strike, more damage. When we see the likes of Nightstick has a 32% increase in DPS, Top Shot increase in DPS, but this combat at the minute doesn't actually increase DPS in any way. And so that's a big concern for me, and I think that might change, but that is a massive deal breaker for me. If it doesn't increase DPS and keeps its DPS as it is, it's a definite no for me. I think that's a where like it's like that cannot happen. That needs to change. And you could argue that maybe it might start to make it overpowered if you're going to increase DPS and reduce range. But then again, you've got Glitch that increases damage massively. So you kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do you really want from this combat? But I'm not, as it is right now, I'm not really sold. I like the fact it reduces range and all this. But I'm like, it's hard to see. It's hard to know what it's doing. I would rather have something that just wipes an area out. I'm very much a damage person. We talk about stunning defenses and slowing them down and walking through the base. I would rather take it out than slow it down or stun it and then have to worry about it again in a few more seconds. So yeah, you can reduce the range every 10 seconds, but then when it's, you know, when it's not hitting it, you might get hit again. You're sort of taking that risk. It's not, you know, it's not an exact science. And so I'm not a big fan of that. So I like the fact that they brought out a new sniper. I think it's long overdue. I think there has been some thought process behind that, thinking, listen guys, we haven't done a sniper in a while, let's do a sniper. I do like the fact that they're doing that. I just don't think this is the answer, especially not with a DPS increase. So I'm hoping we can get some quick changes around. But again, we're in this sort of situation where we're like, literally, the event is next week, and we still haven't got the combat ready, and it's still a lot of changes that need to be made. If this was ready to go, I'd be like, you know what, it's not too bad, but I think it's a very, very long way from being complete. I think it needs a DPS increase, definitely. That's has to happen. And I also think the range needs to be increased as well to make it decent, because we've not had a really, really good combat for gunners in quite a while now. I'm trying to think of the last time we had a really good gunner combat. Are we talking Nightstick and Glitch? Well, I know Glitch is quite a while ago. Are we talking Nightstick? Was it that long ago? We've had a lot of melee DPS combats to help them. We've done that, and they're doing really well in the meta right now. And we've seen gunners sort of come back away from the meta quite a bit, with people just running maybe one. So I think it's time to bring out a really good gunner sniper style combat. Let's go towards being a bit overpowered. Let's push the boundaries. We talk about this endlessly on this channel, about pushing the boundaries and going to that next level and making things a bit easier so we can rinse and repeat and create out more powerful defenses and then keep going around in circles like that. So I think there's a lot of work to do with not a lot of time to do it, and I'm not confident really they can actually do it in that time. A week to the event and people are going to start making plans. I wouldn't plan around it as it is right now. I'm not really confident they're going to make the changes that I think will make it relevant, but let's give them that time to maybe do them changes and hopefully pull it right round again. What else? Darkland's got another 50k in 5-star shards waiting for the new batch. We're going to talk about that next. Air Elf, I pulled 5-star Whirl as the first of the batch. Only need Topspin now. 5-star Ruin, cool. Go and get him. Good luck. Styler, we need Chrome Dome in the game. We definitely do. Kind Macaritis, but looks like Freeze will be streaming today, but it will be uploading a video that releases any minute now. So no crossover between streams today. Cool. HQ core against different types of combined abilities. That's not a bad idea. Maybe a tactical core that makes the bot a leader. Yeah, but then you wouldn't want to put it on a gunner, would you? You don't want the gunner to be a leader, so. Darklands, yeah, probably gonna sit at level 1. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully they can change it. Yeah, Steve Pierce, I need my box to do something visual so I know it's doing its job. I think that's a really key point. I think he's hit the nail on the head there. You want to see it doing something. Yeah, Darkland's saying Nightstick, Cosmic Rust Blaster. Yeah, it was. Steve Pierce, range reduction, don't do it for me. Yeah, similar line away. Yeah, Big Blade, it's going to be a sniper. But according to each weapons aren't combat. Well, That's debatable. What do you think Computron's 5-star ability will be? Well, the big question is, is Computron the next combiner? That's a big question, isn't it? If it puts the gunner further back, it may balance out. Yeah, but then it's going to come closer. So, man, I know what you mean, though, but yeah. And nice is good on everyone, though. Yeah, yeah, to fair, yes. Okay, cool. So, the bit everyone has been waiting for, the new information, the new release of the next 5-star batch. So I know there's some bots of people are going to be knowing what's going to be in this batch. So, without further ado, Tasmanian Kid and Metal Hawk are the endurance bots that are going to be in the new batch. I think everyone sort of saw that coming. Tasmanian Devil Dog and Metal Hawk are massively glitched right now, and so Dale is actually working behind the scenes to fix them. They're both broken. The big debate right now in playtest is whether to fix Tasmanian Kid or whether to change him. A bit about that shortly. Next up, we have two legacy bots, which is Cosmos and Mindwipe, and Lightspeed and Iron Bison. So those are the two legacy bots coming. And so the big question is, the 5th bot, who's that going to be? Well, we are sticking with the theme of combiners. And I think in this sense, it's not only going to be a good bot, it's going to be a really good outpost bot, but I think the cons are going to be really happy with this. The next bot in the batch is going to be Chromia and Felbat. Yes. So Chromia as an outpost bot is going to be good, but the big thing there is that Felbat then completes Laokaiser, and so then we have Computron and Laokaiser as 5-star combiners, and they have been announced as the next combiners coming to the game as 5 stars. That is official. That is not me speculating. That is official. And I said to Dale, I said, when can we sort of expect this? Dale is starting working on Computron as we speak already. Because he's done so well, Volcanicus getting him nearly polished off, and he is literally nearly there. Just a few little tweaks. Computron and Larkaz are going to be the next 5-star combiners. And so, after the conversation about Volcanicus, and we talked about people having specific jobs, I asked Dale, I said, well, what are we going to do for Computron then? And we're just sort of spitballing. And he said, well, there's a lot about hack in it, sort of around Computron, things like that, but he definitely needs some sort of increase. I think defense is pretty decent. That ability is still used. I used to use Computron in my outpost. He said maybe we might make some slight tweaks to make that even better. But ultimately, I think he just needs his other abilities make it a lot better. And then we talked about, the Volcanicus giving the bots a Megatronus effect. I went, what if we gave all the bots an anti-hack effect? That actually might help with Beachcomber, maybe. Because Beachcomber are constantly hacking your bots over and over. Imagine Computron giving your bots 20 seconds of hack invulnerability. Would that help against Beachcomber? And I've always said that we should create counters and create overpowered stuff and counters for it. So maybe that will work. But interesting where it goes. But going back to the batch itself. So Tasmanian Kid, I'm not too sure. I didn't go for him. I wasn't impressed with him. I actually think I called him one of the worst bots in the game at the time. Some people actually quite like him. It's supposed to be good for leveling, things like that. I wasn't a big fan. I didn't like the way the ability worked. And even when I read the ability, it I sort of refreshed myself the other day and I thought, I'm going to go and have a look at him again and sort of read it. And even when I read it, it kind of didn't make any sense to me. If I can find him. See, that bad. I might not even have him. So we've got perform a side swipe strike that deals X seconds in an area. If hitting a target under the effect of Mega Swipe, the duration of water effect is reset. So there's no like, if hitting a target under the effects, it doubles or triples. It's just like the duration of the water effect is reset. So use your ability. If you use the other one, the other ability disappears. It kind of just makes no sense. But thinking back, it was kind of like you had to sort of combo the two abilities. But the cost of it to combo was just too expensive. So at 4 plus 2, you've got to think 4 ability points. And you've got to use the second one. So you've got to use both. That's 4 plus 6. So that's 10 ability points to do whatever damage in an area for 10 ability points. That's very expensive. And when we sort of look at other bots, what damage they do for 7 ability points, you know, doing 10k damage in an area, he's just getting overlooked completely. But Dale said that he's completely broken. And the debate is whether they should completely rework him and change him completely, or whether they should just make him do what he should. And then we've got Metal Hawk, and apparently he's working as his G1 is working within the bot without his G1. You don't even need his G1. And apparently he's doing a lot more than what he should as well. So he's broken as well. A lot of people apparently in top alliances have been taking advantage of this, which is fair enough. That's the way it goes. But he's going to be fixed as well. So those bots are going to change. Now, Dale did say in an interview with me that if you want a legacy bot that's going to get reworked, then go and vote for that. But if it comes in a batch, you won't get many changes. So I can't imagine Chromia and Fellback getting too many changes. Me personally, I would like to see the HP of the tower increased a bit more. That's the one thing I would like to see. I think then they could be really, really good outpost bots. I just feel like once that tower goes down, if you just sort of snipe the tower a couple of times, it disappears, it's done, it's gone. So I'm not really too happy with Chromia and Fellback the way they are right now as 5 stars, just becoming 5 stars. Back in the day, they were absolutely pesky, but I do think it needs some editing. But this is going to cause a bit of a problem in terms of leveling as well, because when we used to have Chromia and Fellback in outposts, it caused chaos when leveling with bots. If you're still going to level with combiners, I think you're fine, but on lower levels, those that still use bots to level are going to find it a little more difficult, because they're going to find even more Fellbacks and even more Chromias in bases when you're leveling. And then just to double down on that, with Cosmos and Mindwipe coming out as 5 stars and coming in the batch, they'll be more prevalent as well. We're going to have more Cosmos and Mindwipe on defense as well. So the two bots are probably two of the most pesky bots in terms of stopping people leveling with bots are coming in the new 5-star batch. Lightspeed for me is an okay defense bot. I have leveled up quite high. Not found any real massive use for him really as yet. And so I've got to start look at this batch and think, Tasmanian Kid, am I pumped up about that? No. Metal Hawk, am I pumped up about that? No. Cosmos Mindwipe? Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah. No. Don't mind that. Lightspeed Iron Bison, am I happy with that? Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's alright. Chromia and Fellback, yeah, it's going to be alright. Combiner pieces, granted. But they're all, you know, decent bots. But nothing jumps out at me. There's nothing in this batch over the combiner piece that I go, wow, I want that bot. And that's kind of what happened with the last batch, because we went through a stage of bringing out some really good content, and then we kind of came out with some really substandard content around bots. And this is kind of around the time that sort of Jesse took over in playtest and started doing these bots. I think he really struggled really in terms of creating really good content and didn't really understand the game. And this is sort of the era we're in terms of 5-star batches. And so I worry that it's not going to be as good as the previous batch, and we're still going to go back to that batch. So for me, as an Autobot, I think I might try and get Cosmos. I think it's a good counter for Beachcomber. I think it'd be good on defense. I think maybe Chromia. The other three, I've got Lightspeed already, so I think I'm going to try and avoid Tasmanian Metal Hawk unless they really rework them. I just think back to when Dale sort of said that they're not going to really spend much time reworking 5-star batches. The idea is to work on legacies more, and that really worries me. With the fact they're working on 5-star Computron, the fact they're working on the 5-star batch, the fact they're trying to get all this sorted, the fact they're still trying to do combats. Yes, they've got Fabian in, so they've got another developer, but there's a lot happening right now behind the scenes and in the game that I just worry about this 5-star batch really becoming a good batch other than just combiner pieces. So they have said they're taking the time with it. It'll probably be out next Saga. There's no rush, I don't think, with it, which I agree with. But we'll have to wait and see where this batch ends up in the long term. But what do you guys think? Are you happy with this batch? Which bots are you going to chase? Will it match the previous batch? Are you confident that the apes are going to, turn around Metal Hawk and Tasmanian Kid and make them actually pretty decent? If Dale's on board, are these things going to happen and make these bots relevant again? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Big plays like, oh my god, Chromia. Volcanicus, oh my. Got my comments from 5-star parts ready to go. Dustin Brilliant Spot, about time. I've had them since at least October. At least October, like that's ages away. It's only about 4 months away. Darklands has put duration isn't long enough to combo. I don't even consider that actually. Yeah, you can combo, it can't be electric. Oh, you mean the Tasmanian Kid? I was thinking Chromia there, like, oh, you can Chromia electric. I didn't think of that. Comboing electric with something else. That's interesting, isn't it? That'd be an interesting avenue to go down. But yeah. Sea Spray Octopunch still don't have a G1. Nope. Fellbat as an easy fix. Ability 11 done. Yeah, valid point. Not got a core either, so no core and no ability 11, so fair point. Dark Answers put nope on Taz Kid. Might not pull if I get Chromia on first pull. Yeah. Yeah. I want Chromia on Cosmos really, but yeah. Volcanicus put ask Dale about Nose Cone's G1. Oh, I know, yeah, I get asked every week. Give Jesse credit, we got Blue Streak out of him. Did we? I don't think we did. I think that was Sam. Could be wrong though. Grind says put Cosmos isn't that great, bud. He wants Cosmos to counter Beachcomber. Yeah, that's it. It does do that. That's the only reason I want him for. I'm for defense. I like to try on defense. I think that'd be interesting. Just hacking a bot forever. Marion's on behind us put why are they giving Dale Combiner to work on and not new bots? Because Dale is not a programmer. It's not his job to do content at all. But he's doing them because he enjoys it and because he wants to do it. That's the only reason. So who do you think will be the next 5-star combiner after Computron? Hoping for Skyrain. I think Defensor. Personally, and Abominus. I think they both need Streetwise and Sinatwin. That's it. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But I think they both need one bot. And I think that Streetwise and Sinatwin just need a 5-star version. A bit of a buff maybe. And then bots are done. There's no reworks or anything like that to be done. And I think that'll be the next bot personally. Again, nothing's been confirmed. Nothing's been... Honestly, it hasn't. I'm not just saying this. If I probably knew, I'd probably just keep quiet and say I don't know. I'll say I do know, but I can't say. But I don't know anything. But it's just something someone said once. It's just something someone said, and I was like, interesting. So yeah, I think Defensor and Abominus next. I think could be wrong though. Could be Skyrain. So who knows? Grandstan's put Drax. I know that I tried that. I found it nearly impossible to keep Cosmos alive and find Beachcomber on the battlefield. I'd have to give it a try, to be fair. I would have tried the tester, which is hard. It's harder in Wars, but I'm intrigued by it. Budaro Budronovic, I hope that's correct, I'm sorry. As a con, I'm definitely excited. Also, defend your attack about 2 weeks ago. Yours had me almost. Ah, cool. Yeah, don't forget, in my defense, that's not my full team. That's one of my leveling teams, to be fair. So I have different teams. They're like not my B team, like C and D teams, to be fair. So I have like a few of them. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I just sort of mix my bots up really to try and get medals. But listen, if your base is defending against me, then kudos, because I do win most of the time. So must be a semi-pro, at least a decent base. So well done. Trax Penny Lancaster, tell me about it, but I guess he must be good in Cybertron Wars. Yeah, funny. Electric and water should combo up nicely, maybe. Optimus, Maximus, Mirage, and Vortex. Vortex? Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. But then Vortex, yeah, it was dust up, so then, yeah. That's why it gets a bit frustrating as well. Abominus needs tracks to be done first. Oh, tracks and, oh. Maybe it's time. Was that creepy? No. Oh, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Finding Beachcomber needs to adjust the way targeting is done. Yeah, I did say that to fair. In testing, I did say that to fair. 5-star tracks would be game changing. I don't think it would. All they would do with track. Let's be honest. They would take tracks as he is, no change, DPS increase, HP increase. Make that 65-70%. Done. 70%, 15% faster, and 70% for 21 seconds. 10% increase. That is it. Nothing else. That's all you're getting with tracks. Most powerful 4-star in the game. So I think that's all you will get. Honestly. Ooh, yes, 5-star tracks would be awesome. Joshua the Banker, but I know we've waited for it for a long time. I think it'd be a good way to start the year as well. I really do. Streetwise and Trailbreaker all done on both combiners. Streetwise, Cinetwin, Tracks and Cutthroat, but we do need Trailbreaker and Exhaust though. For Skyrain. So yeah. Jeffrey's put, I wish they would give us one of the G.I. Joe bots as a 5-star. Yeah, well, they've been talking about that as well. Someone said it in the chat today that they can see that happen this year. I don't know why, but someone said it. I don't know if it's like an anniversary for G.I. Joe or something. I don't know. But someone did mention that, but I don't know how much truth there is. Make his cloud cover 50% of the map, Steve Business, but... Blades over Cosmos for daily... yeah, that one. Only needs air. Yeah, that one's got a good point. He's got a good point there. I've already got blades. Why waste time leveling a bot when I can do it with blades? I mean, what's the difference though? So Cosmos is it like 20 seconds? Is it? Where is Cosmos? Right down here somewhere. For good reason. For 20 seconds. So yeah, 20 seconds versus 12 seconds. So it's twice as long though, but there is that risk. So it's risk versus reward, isn't it? So yeah, you got a point. Tracks, but actually Cup is the strongest 4-star in the game, but I use both Cup and Tracks. Nah. I totally disagree with that. No. Tracks is definitely stronger. When you've got a bot that blocks all of 70 or 60 or 70% damage, Tracks is definitely the most overpowered bot in the game. Definitely. I still think it's one of the best 4-star, best bots in the game. Never mind as a 5-star. I'm just elitist that I don't use 4-stars. But 5-star Tracks, just silly. Alexander's put, I don't have many 5-stars. I only got Twin Twist, Elita, Optimus, Sentius. What should I go for next? Literally just clear out. Let's go on the cons. Apologies. Clear out batch 16. That would be my advice. Clear out 16. If you have Hoffa and Lockdown left over, then don't be too bothered if you don't get them. You can leave them in there. But the other 4 I would definitely go and get, and it will really help your war team. Grant says, but I just need more 5 stars to level. This whatever. I'll need to open up faction combiners so I can start my cons. Yeah, it's something maybe, yeah. Joshua Banks, but I'm still using 4-star tracks in war. Was giving up hope. Was hoping we'll get 5-star Trailbreaker, maybe. Sia Tactics, welcome to the chat as well. Go and check out his channel, guys. Does a lot of YouTube stuff, a lot of stuff for like newer players, and a lot of like how-to guides. Go and check him out, guys. Joshua Banks, do you think Huffer could be used as a hybrid healer, at least in events? Yeah. You know, I find his healing beam is better than his attack beam, so it's definitely an option, without a doubt. Okay, so we've just announced 5-star Computron, new 5-star batch. And I'm sure that everyone in the chat was thinking, that's the big news for the stream. It ain't, guys. That isn't even the biggest news, believe it or not. I know that everyone in chat was like, oh my god, that's amazing. That ain't even the biggest news. HQ19 is coming, guys. HQ19 is being developed behind the scenes. That's the big news. So it's not coming anytime soon. It's not going to be next week. It's not going to be next month. It might not even be the next 6 months. It might even be near next Christmas. But HQ19 is being developed. So we're not doing the HQ 18.4. That's getting skipped. They've sort of scrapped that. And so we talk now. I know I've done a lot of news about Ruination. I was trying to keep it under wraps and Volcanicus, things like that. But the idea is that with HQ19, we can kind of balance out Ruination and improve combiners. And that's where the conversation with Volcanicus came from. Because I'm like, yeah, but if you bring out HQ19, what's that going to do to that shield gen cluster? And Dale literally said, well, just buff Volcanicus. That's his job. He needs to be able to do that. I've spoke to Fabian. When HQ19 comes around, we will buff Volcanicus so he could do that. But in preparation now, guys, this is what you need to do now. We don't know what's coming. It could be new cores. It could be new defenses. But keep your defense skips. If you're maxed out especially, keep your defense skips or close to maxed out. Just keep them defense skips. You're going to need them when HQ19 comes out. Start looking now at bots that, especially like Blue Streak, that reduce the HP of buildings. That's going to be essential. Optimal Optimus and Leo Prime are not going to be able to do the damage that they currently do when HQ19 comes out. They're not going to be able to take them out. Do we start comboing with Acid in some way? These are the questions we've got to start asking of ourselves. And I've done this at every single HQ increase. And this is what we need to start doing, is thinking, how am I going to take out these defenses if they have an extra 20% HP? How am I going to do that? How am I going to beat these bases? So this is why it's good practice to go into Prime League in Cybertron now. You will have an idea what HQ19 is about. And so the big question as well is like, we have a third MDS. Will that be madness? Will it be crazy to have a third MDS? Will we finally get the 4th MDS attachment as part of HQ19? What will the attachment do? These are all the massive questions that we sort of get. Will we get more build bots? Who knows? I don't think we'll get another outpost. That was on the last HQ increase. We begged for that and got it. I don't think we'll get more outpost bots. But honestly, for me though, this sort of says we are planning the year ahead. Trust us, guys. This game is going nowhere. We are planning HQ19. We are planning for the next year. And I'm super pleased that Fabian's doing that as well behind the scenes. He's going to be organising all that. Super, super pleased, honestly, and I'm super pleased that I can announce that because I love it when the game takes forward steps, and that's a big step forwards. So get prepared for it, guys. I don't know if the level cap will increase. There's a lot of questions right now on where that will happen. It's a long way off. I just want to emphasize that, guys. It's a long way off. Don't spend your time for the next 9 months going, when's HQ19 coming? When's HQ19 coming? Will it have another MDS? I'm sure to talk about it all behind the scenes, and I will ask them sort of questions every now and again. But in the meantime, what you want to do is start hoarding resources. For a while now, I've been hoarding these 4-star shards. And this is where it'll come to the forefront. If they bring out HQ19 tomorrow and said, there's 5 new cores, I've got them. They're there. Done. This is why I do this hoarding. When HQ19 drops, I will be ready. The big question is, will you be ready for HQ19? Super pumped. Can't wait. And then Dale said to me, they're working on solo wars. Solo wars. That is the idea behind the scenes. Not sure how that is going to work, but that is going to be the new game mode that's coming out. We've had Mayhem mode, which is, they said was not the new event, not the new game mode. That was just an improvement as such, but that is kind of what they've done to freshen up events. Now they need to freshen up wars. They're kind of looking at a bit of a rework, but they are bringing out solo wars, which is going to be really interesting as well, how that works. So a lot of things, that's why I said earlier, a lot of things behind the scenes. We've got Volcanicus as a 5-star coming out. We've got Computron as a 5-star coming out. Then they're going to work on the next 5-star combiner. We've got HQ19 being worked on. We've got Solo Wars being worked on behind the scenes. There's so much work happening behind the scenes that it fills me with a great sense that the game is in good hands, the game is progressing, and the game is going to be here for a lot longer. So don't panic, guys. Don't worry. The game is going nowhere. It's all going to be fine. Let me know in the comments. Are you excited for HQ19? Are you excited for Solo Wars? I am. You can probably tell I am super pumped for HQ19. I love these big releases. They're absolutely brilliant. And I cannot wait to release all the info to you guys. And the only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button, guys. And never miss another stream. Never miss another video. And stay up to date with all the tips, tricks, how to get ahead for HQ19, how to prepare for it, how to be ready for it. Hit that subscribe button, guys, and never miss another bit of content. Let me know in the comments how you feel about HQ19. Big plate, HQ19, my group's got mental. Joshua LeBlanc, let's go. Darklands figure 6 to 9 months. Yeah, I reckon about 9 months. I think about October, November we'll probably see HQ19 coming. Black, woohoo! Steve Pierce, but I might be HQ18 max by the time HQ19 is released, hopefully. So there will be 71 or a 9th bot in the shuttle. Joshua LeBlanc's bot. I don't think there'll be a 9th bot in the shuttle. I don't think we'll see that, but I do think we might see a cap increase maybe. Blade 19, I have 3 skips already. Yes, save your XP as well, guys. Yeah, might use that for your bots. Joshua LeBlanc, Leo does enough damage, still be viable in HQ19. Yeah, no doubt. But he won't take it out on his own. So at the minute he does 20k damage. So yeah, yeah, maybe. But you don't know what they're going to do. I mean, if they increase the HP of build bots to 9k, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, brother? Darklands, you mean building skips? Yeah, keep your building skips. That's what I'm on about. Sorry, yeah, keep your building skips. What else? I've got 7 building skips leveled up. Yeah, saved up. Yeah, I think I've got 8. Is it? I think I looked the other day. 8. I think it is. I think. Scrolly. Yeah, I've got 8. So yeah, you're not a million miles away. Yeah, I imagine we'll probably have about 10 by by the time it comes out, but with so many defenses. But there's always some people that absolutely rush it and coin it, and it makes the game a fortune. So, fine. Supreme Roses put Skids with OO and Slingshot with Leo. Yeah, maybe. Grind Time, a third MDS with a new attachment would be mental. Decimus put wow. Yep, I'm excited. See, Texas put Solo's Wall would be great if they did them like they were implemented on China server arena mode. Yeah, I vaguely remember arena mode. Vaguely. It was a long time ago. I have to have a refresher on that. I don't know. Mouth Cooper down wish they would have revamped raids instead of another war mode. Yeah, maybe. That may still happen after that, maybe. We got to think that wars have even been the same since even before. Other than Prime League, wars haven't changed since release. At all. 10 years. Well overdue. Dalton says, but we need new SA11s and G1s. Yeah, I think that's just going to come as part of the legacy, though, I think. Jason Roller still needs to compete HU18. Better hurry up then. Grind Time. Best news about the game not going anywhere is that it means Wozza challenge going nowhere. Fair point. He's got a point, guys. He's got a point. Mario Zambiano's put Volcanicus look like it's in a great spot. I think so. Yeah, I like him. I really do. Traxxas put, yeah, Wozza isn't going to be a quitter with his channel like someone. Oh, I said that. I was like, who's he on about? Oh, shots fired. Mario Zambiana, I would say not much work to be done. Yes, yeah, Tactic said there's more work to be done. Was said 95%. Yeah, it depends. Like I said, some people want him to be a combiner for leveling, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think if you're expecting that, it's not going to happen. There's a MDS attachment 3 acid sprinkler. I said that to Dale. Something around anti-healing, but including combats, reducing all healing, including combats. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Or prevent any healing. Imagine that, like from then on in the battle, it hits your bots, and once it gets hit, it can't heal. Anti-heal. Oh my god, I'm just spitballing. I don't know. But I did talk to Dale like some ideas around what we would do, and to be honest, well, I say that it was just me talking at Dale, going, I would like this, and this would be cool, and that'd be all right. I can't wait for this, and that'd be all right. And Dale's like, whoa, it's early days. And he's like, please tell everyone it's early days, please. Okay. Plans, but oh god, please give us a slider bar. In terms slider bar, in terms of what do you mean? I'm trying to find. I seen someone else mention slider bar. Let me know what you mean by a slider bar. They had a slider bar on bot using bot XP. You mean in this? You mean inventory? You mean a slider bar there rather than scrolling? Yeah, it's a fair point. It is annoying. Joshua Black, do you think they'll ever remove fuel cells from elimination mode? No. I campaigned for that a long time ago. No, sadly. Yeah, see, Tactic saying, yeah, but they're going to buff him at HU19 and just go with the flow. But he's still going to do that one thing. He is a shield cluster buster. That is his job and always will be. So even if they're going to buff him, all it's going to do is make him do more damage in that area to that cluster, I think. So, time got any burn for that, got any cream for that burn. Love it. Solo Wars is interesting. Yeah, could be. For using more than one inventory item. Yeah, fair point as well. It's a bit frustrating as well. HU19, will we see Titan ability to level 4? We might see 5-star Titans. Who knows? Pete the Greeks put, so Fabian is going with Yanis. It's good for the game. I agree. Listen, having people that experience in the game that know what they're doing is always good for the game. So super pleased. Blade 19s, but yeah, maybe we'll get 5-star Titans. Yeah, Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, a lot of information to sort of take in there. Jesus. I mean, you got Volcanicus, new combat, new 5-star batch, 5-star Computron, and Laukaiser confirmed. HQ19, Solo Wars. I wasn't lying when at the beginning of the stream I said there's a lot to cover, a lot of information. And like I said, when the new 5-star batch was announced, even I said today, oh my god, that's amazing, blah blah. And I said, like, you know, that's, well, I hit him up first saying any news, and he's like, well, new 5-star batch, blah blah. I sort of talked a bit. And then I said, like, is there anything else you can sort of, like, you know, tell me that can put people's minds at rest, that, you know, they're all right, the game's all right? And he's like, well, there is something. And he's like, oh my god, oh my god. I nearly cried. See, Texas, but I'm not dead set against 5-star Volk, but I'm not going to be in a rush to get him. No, listen, I understand that. You know, that's the way it kind of should be. That we should have, you know, it should be the same with bots, it should be the same with combats. It gets a bit boring if everyone chases the same content. You know, if they brought out a raid combiner, if Computron was a raid combiner, I'm not saying he is. Let's just say he was. I won't be too bothered with that. You know, let's just say the 4-star ability stayed as it is. And was still good on defense, and they sort of buffed his health a bit, or did something just to make him a bit harder. I said he's pretty good, Computron, to be fair, on defense, but he's crap on attack. But let's just say he went, well, listen, we're not going to do anything around that. We're going to do a lot of hacking and stuff like that to help in raids. I'd be like, okay, it's not my cup of tea. I'll skip after Breaker then. I'm not a big fan of his anyway. I didn't really want him anyway. I was only getting him for a combiner. I can skip that one. When's the next one coming out? Oh, the next one's going to be Magna Boss, Tripredicus, and that's going to be an event war combiner. Right, okay, that's where I'm going. That's my next focus. And I can go towards that. That's fine. I don't have to. I got to think then, I haven't got to chase every single 5-star either. I can skip some and go, I'm not going to chase that one. I'm not going to bother with that one. So I'm fine with that, and I'm fine with people saying that it's not my cup of tea. You know, just understand that hopefully it's someone else's. That's the idea. You don't want everyone to say, no, I don't want this. But you kind of don't want everyone to go, I've got to have this. Because then everyone has it. It's kind of boring. You want some people to go, I want that, some not. Same with bots. You know, and you want to have a good, you know, I've always said to Dale, don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just think to yourself, what do I want this combiner to do? What's its job? And go make it do that well. And that'll be fine. Whatever you want it to do. Same with bots as well. Give it a job. Make it do that well. LJ Gav, looking forward to 5-star Bruticus. Looking forward to all the 5-stars. Can't wait. Jeffrey, do we have a date for the next 5-star batch? I think it's coming out next Saga. I don't... I think a lot of stuff they're doing right now, they're not holding to dates. Hence why you can see in the current Saga, there's gaps. That's not anything to worry about. I think they're just saying, listen, there's a lot going on here, guys. We're not going to commit to anything. And just to put something out there as well, this is going to take a bit longer than people think. This is not a case of, oh, right, we're going to leave Space Ape and next week they're gone. It's probably going to take the next 6 months of this. I mean, it doesn't mean the content's going to be rubbish or come out or be slow, but we're going to be talking about this for the next 6 months. Because you've got to think that lawyers have got to get involved, contracts have got to be made, people have got to decide what they're doing, whether they're going with the game, whether they're going with Supercell, whether they're going to go somewhere else and find another job. All that's got to be sorted, the legal side of it. Then they've got to be uprooted and actually join this other company. Then the contracts have got to be done and signed with them as well. So you've got to think it's not a case of just going, oh, we're changing over, we're switching over. It's a huge deal and a huge amount of work that's got to be done behind the scenes. So just keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, Blade 19. I'm just happy the game is going nowhere. Yeah, super pumped. I'm hoping HU19 will bring people back to the game as well. Can't wait. Joshua LeBlanc. I'm excited to maybe build different war teams based around different 5-star combiners. Yeah, possibility. Why not? Cool. Another batch release. Do I have predictions? Yeah, I reckon next Saga, but that could be 12 weeks away. I don't think so. I think the next 2 months. I think midway through Right, I'm just guessing here now. I can't imagine the 5-star batch is going to be changing too much. I think there were minimal changes, I think that's sort of what they got in their head. After they fixed Tasmanian Kid and they fixed Metal Hawk, but that wasn't on the cards. I think week 2 of the next saga, so 4, 5, I think about 7 weeks, I think about 2 months. I think we'll probably see it before the end of March. That's my prediction. Prediction though, guys. Don't hold anyone to that. Darklands got 5-star Razor Claw, an alt account. Last random I needed. Tantrum was last in batch. Need 2,500 shards to rank up for 5-star. Predaking. Yeah, well, I've worked out. So, with my shards there, just them, I've actually got 60,000 5-star shards, I think it is. Just there. Not including that, not including my other crystals. So, when HQ 19 gets released, all of them are getting pulled into the new cores. If they bring out new cores, the whole lot is getting pulled. Imagine that on a stream. Pulling, what? 300, I don't know how many it is. how many 4-star crystals is that? Oh my god. So, 35 times 470. 140 4-star crystals. 2,000 Prem crystals. And then another 3,000 crystals, something maybe there, maybe 2,000, maybe after the total spark crystals. So that's going to be mental opening all them. Mental. But no, I'll probably just do that in a play stream or something when they hit, when the day that it drops, I'll be like, crystal opening video. And we're going to sit here for 3 hours and watch me open crystals and try and get cores. Do some giveaways. Why not, to celebrate? I think Taz Kid and maybe Metal Hawk might get reworked. Yeah, maybe. They need to do a few tweaks to the 5-stars. I'd say more than tweaks for Metal Hawk and Taz from what I've heard. But I mean, you're in tests, you'll know. But I think there's a lot of tweaks need to be made. But the question is, do they just fix it or rework it? That's the big debate, I think, in a minute. And when they said in test, you'll know that they said in test that they're going to do some changes. Some people weren't happy. You know, some people like the bot as it is, and that's a chance you take when you do a rework. That some people will have leveled that bot and go, I'm not happy because I use it for this reason. But you need to make sure that the rework is better than the original, which hopefully it is. Blade 19 mega opening. Grant has got 100,000 5-star shot. Well, stop opening crystals then. I told you, start saving your crystals. Come on, man. Play the game. Oh, don't play the game, as in don't open crystals. You know what I mean? But March is so far away. Dance, any word they will increase total cores you can have? I don't know, mate. Don't know. Not a clue. That's more of a quality of life issue, really. But I think we're far away from that, really. Cool. Darklands, I have 100 4-star crystals banked in the bridge. Yep, keep them. Keep them for HQ 19. HQ 19. Michael Cooper, mega mental opening. Well, with that bombshell, guys, that is it for today's stream. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We'll be back next week with more news on Volcanicus. Probably more news on 5-star Computron, hopefully. More news on the 5-star batch and how that's coming along. Hopefully the new combat will be finalised. So it's going to be another action-packed week next week, guys. So look forward to that. So see you the same time next week. Watch out for some videos in the meantime. If you remember, there's plenty of videos to go and watch with more coming this week, guys. Thanks for watching and peace out.